So today we ask, should sharing misinformation about vaccines be a crime? Maybe you've got a friend or family member who says, oh no, I'm not getting a COVID vaccine. And their attitude worries you a bit. Do text 88291 or email vine@bbc.co.uk and enclose your number. And is it possible to be against the COVID vaccine without being an anti-vaxxer? That's an interesting question as well. We're joined by Dr. David Robert Grimes, author of The Irrational Ape, Why We Fall for Disinformation, Conspiracy Theory and Propaganda. Also joining us, journalist and broadcaster Lois Perry. So, David, you go first. There will be a lot of people who are hit by anti-COVID vaccine material, won't there?
There absolutely will, Jeremy. We know already that the leading cause of vaccine hesitancy is exposure to anti-vaccine propaganda, and that's what we should call it. It is propaganda. Far before we had any kind of inkling of what the vaccine would look like, there was already ample disinformation on both COVID-19 and the emergent COVID-19 vaccine, and that's kind of what we expect. We know this does serious harm, and we know that it's shared widely on social media. And we estimate about 25 to 30% of people have garnered serious doubts because of what they've read on things like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
So we seem to, we latch onto it emotionally. Is that why we're vulnerable?
Absolutely. Our psychology kind of predisposes us towards emotive, scary things. They stick in our head. It's like an availability heuristic. It's just there. So if you read a terrifying account of how dangerous a vaccine is, or Bill Gates is making it up to microchip us, we remember that. And there's a phenomenon called illusory truth, which the repeated exposure to this kind of stuff kind of predisposes us towards believing it, even if we know it on an intellectual level to be wrong. It is very hard for science and medicine, which is more sober-headed, to compete with the kind of outlandish claims and crazy conspiracy theories that have become the bread and butter of social media. And that net effect is serious societal harm, where people become distrustful of scientific authorities and the medical establishment, and start undermining their own public health by themselves, or because they've been put upon to do so.
Lois Perry, would you make it a criminal offence to share that kind of stuff?
No, absolutely not. I mean, people are talking about substance that's going to be injected into their bodies. They have a right to debate it and to talk about it on all forums. How can it be a criminal offence to have a discussion or have an opinion on something that's so important? I mean, we're not talking about Holocaust denial here. We're not talking about something that happened some time ago, which was a historical fact. What we're talking about is a very movable feast of science and medicine, and I would take issue with the fact, with the statement just now that medicine and science is sober and, it's either right or wrong. Because if the last year has proved anything, it's proved that science, again, there's no right or wrong. There's about, for every scientist that says something, there's another scientist that says something else. And also with medical things that are seen as totally and utterly safe in one year, the next year are seen as totally unsafe, and, even in a shorter period of time.
But Lois, if someone said this has been tested, this vaccine, and it is safe, would you not accept that?
Well, no, because you could argue that absolutely every single medicine that has been used throughout history that has since found to be harmful has been tested and we've been told that it's safe. But I don't think this argument is about whether I think that the vaccine should be